Well, delighted with the gains yesterday. 174 quid. What an evening, or what a day, as I started quite early. Let's have a look at some of the plays yesterday. So Galatasaray, we're looking for that late Liverpool equaliser, but wanting to get out of jail if they don't cross the line. So waiting. I think I must have played around with this a bit earlier on, because a £2 loss on the draw. Yes, I topped up a little bit more on Galatasaray, or taking them on. But Liverpool couldn't cross the line. But I got paid out. Bodo Glimt and the Spuds. Excellent performance from Tottenham Hotspur yesterday. +1 market there. Backed them at 3.1, which for that market is very high indeed. This was benefited by actually watching the match. Bodo Glimt, excellent performance from them yesterday. But Tottenham getting out of jail with the 2-2. Valencia and Real Oviedo have to lay Real Oviedo late on at 1.28 with a small back of Valencia at 36s, just in case they could bring that 2-2, as they did against Espanyol. But this is a brilliant win for Oviedo, and the first time they've scored 2 goals in a very, very long time. It is a dropped 3 points for what should have been a banker day for Valencia. So you see the difference. I can say Valencia banker material in the research, but it's in play where it all unpacks and where you make your money. I entered the match expecting Valencia to dominate, but they did get the equaliser against Oviedo, but they didn't get the winner. Peterborough under-21s and Aston Villa under-21s. A late equaliser there for Peterborough. Now, I've noticed this in the past in these EFL Cups. Whenever a league side is meeting an under-21 side, the league side tend to do the winning, particularly when they're short price favourites like Peterborough were. But Peterborough were 0-2 down. They came out and got the win. Eindhoven and Dordrecht, this was excellent. Laying over 3.5 goals to cover the 2-1 for FC Eindhoven. Wait for the Dordrecht equaliser to make it 2-2. Again, this purely down to in-play stats. There's absolutely no way pre-match I could have preempted this. So you see, research has its place, but it's in play where you make the dough, of course. Atalanta and Club Brugge. Played the Atalanta +1 market, very simple. At a goal down, 1.98, and then 1.1819 to cash out. Cashed out early, could have held on for the win, of course. Wigan under-21 and Crewe under-21s. What happened here? Let's have a look. The draw, 75 quid on the draw. So I must have laid Crewe under-21s at 1.52. I would have covered that, that's for sure. But that is an excellent return. Wigan under-21s and Crewe under-21s. So must have been very solid in-play stats to have got me involved there. So a very, very good night indeed. And let's be honest, I missed out on a hell of a lot of other opportunities, that's for sure. Particularly in the English Championship, where Hull, 1.91 favourites, 0-2 down. Watch out for that comeback. Wrexham and Leicester, I would have preferred Leicester to have scored first. Sorry, Wrexham to have scored first, because I would have looked at both teams to score element there as well. Sheffield United, I gave this a call. Consistent 1-0 performers, 1-0 win latest. Southampton stats look good. I didn't get on this. Should have got on it. But I would spread across a whole lot of other matches. But a great Southampton win. So there were some trades in the Championship yesterday. Real interesting ones as well. Cardiff and Burton. Well, what did I do yesterday? I laid over 0.5 goals very early because Cardiff were absolutely dominating. And I sat on it. Cardiff's odds were rising and rising and rising. I was going to be back in Cardiff at some point, but Burton scored. Nicked a late winner. I did take Burton on late on. EFL Trophy. You see, ordinarily, well, the red card helped massively here for Reading. Again, that's a trade. That's a trade. The red card changed the match. Reading at 1-1 against red-carded West Ham, pulling it off. Peterborough, you can see against Aston Villa under 21s. Barnet, Brighton under 21s. You see the pattern. So watch out for this in the future. When a league side is meeting an under 21 side and the market's favouring as well, you should get that league side delivering, particularly at 0-2 down against Aston Villa under 21s. Champions League was brilliant yesterday. Very, very emphatic though. Marseille are on a hell of a run at the moment, beating Paris Saint-Germain. Massive win at the weekend domestically, and now this. Paphos done by the better side, just as Kairat Almaty were done by the better side. These big boys, just merciless, aren't they? Look at Atletico Madrid. Eintracht Frankfurt, I would have expected more goals from them, to be honest with you. Chelsea, they were very, very lucky yesterday. Benfica were knocking on that door. 2 consecutive defeats for Arne Slot, Liverpool's saviour. Now, I don't know why on earth Mohamed Salah and Isak were used as substitutes off the bench. It is a tactic in the Premiership and is a reason for late goals. But surely in a Champions League away game, you field your big boys at the start. That was a mistake from Arne Slot. Arne Pie in the Sky Slot. The under-19s I actually traded yesterday as well. So do watch out for that this competition. It's liquid enough in the early afternoons. Can't remember which one I traded, but it must have been one of these. Maybe Inter 19 against Slavia. No, that was a 2-0 lead. I did play one of these, but I can't remember. So that was it yesterday. Serie B didn't touch. No need to touch it, but Frosinone absolutely bossed it. If you've got an in-play stats feed, you'll have seen this emphatic performance at 0-0 from Frosinone. Here's the Divisi. Again, no need to play it when you've got quality trades elsewhere. Again, it's a reputation for goals, as you can see, apart from Young Utrecht. Venlo and Ben Bosch, I was looking for a late Venlo equaliser, but again, had that covered. And I did get that Dordrecht 2-2. All down to the in-play stats. So let's have a look on to today. And I'm doing a research for the Europa League only via AI. Now, I had a problem with my AI yesterday. I ran out of API requests. This is the one that really goes through very quickly. So I've had to resort to other AI to fill the gaps. This is what happens if you don't have a limiter on your applications. The AI requests get burnt out very quickly, and I couldn't continue with my research. But I researched loads and loads of matches for members. They're all waiting here to be uploaded in the library. So they're all here to be passed on to members today. Now, as I say, Europa League, Europa Conference League, I think in-play stats are the key tool. So take of that what you will. English Championship, I've done the AI research for members and my own research for members as well. Millwall and Coventry. Coventry going through a bit of a wobble at the moment under Frank Lampard, but they do have that goal threat. It is a match where the market expects both teams to be very competitive, and they can't pick a winner. They can't pick a winner in Norwich West. Brom either. 2.3 the favourite. So it's a very tough coupon in the Championship on paper, but we never know how it will unfold. Europa, Champions League, Karabag. Oh, it's Champions League. I was thinking it was the Europa League. That must be Thursday. So Champions League, we're up and running. Union Saint-Gilloise. Watch out for these Belgian sides. You've seen Club Brugge full of goals. Union Saint-Gilloise, I think, beat Club Brugge, didn't they? Newcastle, solid if they got the first 11 out. But away from home, you saw change in tactics from Liverpool. Complete failure there. Arsenal against Olympiacos Piraeus. What you're going to get here is the 10-man defence from Ollie. Ollie do have a solid goal threat in front, and I think 1.17 might be a little bit too dismissive of Olympiacos in a Champions League match. Barcelona, PSG. I'm salivating, waiting for this one. It's going to be a great watch. Probably not going to be a good trade, because PSG at 3.9, you bite your hands off. to have a chance of backing Paris Saint-Germain at 3.9 in a football match. That is extremely good value. But Bayer Leverkusen against PSV Eindhoven. Bayer Leverkusen up in the clouds with a new manager. Both teams are scoring very, very regularly in all competitions. Again, PSV Eindhoven, good enough to be competitive against a side spluttering a little. Dortmund against Atletico Bilbao. Atletico Bilbao in all sorts of trouble. It's really sad to see. They put in masterful performances, dominate the shots on, shots off and corners, but they don't deliver the goal or goals. On a really, really poor run in the La Liga, you wouldn't be getting the Atletico Bilbao manager to be buying you lottery tickets. Really bad luck. But they are a decent side if they can get a good run. So that will be competitive against Dortmund today. Maybe Atletico Bilbao's domestic performances is down to this Champions League distraction. Monaco against Man City. I don't think Monaco have the big guns in place really to threaten City. Napoli and Sporting Lisbon. Difficult to unpack this one as well. And Villarreal and Juve. Interesting that Villarreal are favourite here because Juve have shown with a consecutive 4-3 and 4-4. 4-3 against Inter Milan and then 4-4 in the Champions League against Dortmund. I laid Dortmund at 1.02 at 4-2 up. They've got a goal threat in them, Juventus. So that could be an interesting match later on. All in-play stats led. The UEFA Youth League was actually tradable yesterday. Has to be followed implicitly via the in-play stats. But it yielded me a couple of trades yesterday. So I'm interested in checking that out from 11 a.m. Italian Serie B looks a very, very tricky coupon today. I've done the research for members, AI research. I'm not going to be spending time manually researching 2.25, 2.65 the favourite, 2.35 the favourite, 2.1 the favourite. You know what you're getting. No, it's 2.4 the favourite. Sorry, it's even worse. When your favourite is 2.65, when your favourite is 2.4, the market's simply saying, we haven't got a clue, mate. Sorry about that. Let's have a look at KFUM against Fred at Soccer Stats in the Norwegian Elite Serien. So we'll have a look at that. Soccer Stats is your go-to website, really, to research these matches. Even though you have to go through the houses to actually get to the match, this is your go-to site. The huge benefit with soccerstats.com is it's closely aligned to football markets. So where there's a football market on Betfair, there's a stat for that at Soccer Stats. Looking at KFUM against Fred. Fred have been involved in Europe, I think. And quite obviously, the recent form side is KFUM Oslo. Only one defeat since the 1st of June, but a frustrating run of draws, 3 consecutive home draws, 2 consecutive Desmond 2-2s at home, have conceded 2 goals in 3 of the last 4 matches. Is it quite simply the fact they're just meeting good sides in a small bundle? Fred, well, a couple of wins since the 24th of May at home, one of them away against Molde. That's a good result. They look a bit more accomplished away from home, only going down 1-0 to Brann since the 5th of July. Beaten by Brann and Bodo Glimt, I would suspect both of those odds-on favourites. Indeed, Brann, very, very short price fav. So they look like a side to frustrate Fred, don't they? Looking at the challenge table, give you an idea of where these two are in relation to each other. 10th against 7th, 1-0 defeat last head-to-head. A real goal threat against the top 6. Is that going to extend to the top 7? Look at that. 2-2-1, 4-3 goals scored against the top 6 at home for KFUM Oslo. But then suddenly, the goals dry up against 7th and lower. Very odd indeed. Fredrikstad against the top 10. Well, outside the top 5, they start scoring goals and they start being competitive away from home. Boom, boom, boom. That could have turned into a win or a draw, couldn't it? When you're scoring 3 goals, both teams are scoring as well. Concern that second goal isn't appearing that often for Fred. The pre-match odds, 1.85. It's not a match which greatly appeals to me. In-play stats, of course, I'll be quite happy to look at. Champions League and Europa League, I'll be around from 11 a.m. myself. I don't know if you want me to pass on these more speculative plays, but the problem is in passing them on, they're illiquid markets. I can't get multiple people getting involved in an illiquid market because one person's going to be caught out as the prices drain when there's no market forces. Champions League 2 is also very tradable. The simple route is odds-on favourites at home take particularly the shortest price, and if they're from Qatar, United Arab Emirates, or Saudi Arabia, and they're at home, they do tend to deliver. Bahrain could be part of that group, 1.5 home favourite. They complement today's matches. It's just if it's in play and if there's a good argument, I will be playing that one. So have a great day today. I will see members from 11 a.m. Championship is a very tough nut to crack today. AI research will be available, or just an AI match report, pre-match report, just something simple. For example, if I can show you this, probably not. I've got a whole raft of them here. These are in the Europa League, so I'm already ahead of myself with the Europa League. That's what killed off the API yesterday, doing so many of those. So we've got some matches here. Arsenal against Olympiacos. You can see what the analysis says. I would tend to go down to the top trading insights here. Arsenal to win. Well, Arsenal's XG against is impeccable, isn't it? Very, very tough side to score against. Like Liverpool, they have a bench that can change the match as well. Both teams to score, no. Well, Olympiacos do have a goal threat. So just be careful. They were in the Europa League final last year, weren't they? Total goals over and under 3.5. Okay, well, you're not going to get much value backing under 3.5 goals pre-match, are you? You'll get better value if there's an early goal and then you back under 3.5 goals. This is just the difference between AI and the human element. The human element will tell you how to create the value. This just tells you to back under 3.5 goals. The value is non-existent under 3.5 goals at those odds. Victor Gyökeres, striker, and Daniel Podence for Ollie, the winger. I would have expected the Olympiacos striker to be a key man if they've kept him from the Europa League season. Significant injury concerns and key attacking defensive players leading to tactical compromise. Well, not so sure. Struggled to create and convert chances in an opening Champions League match against weaker opponents, a 0-0 draw against Paphos. But let's be honest, Paphos against the right team is extremely difficult to score against. If you want a quick update, members, go to the sources and key stats. That will just give you an indicator of the two sides, how they look at the start of the season. Expected goals for of 1.58, pushing towards 2 goals. Expected goals against of 0.91, so keeping a team to 1 goal or less. That's from the 2024-2025 season. But it does give you an indicator of the kind of setup for Arsenal. And any defeats really for them should be a 0-1. So quite wonderful day yesterday. Chock full of green. Or when there wasn't any green, there was an insurance to cover it. So making regular amounts with no more than a £40 maximum stake. Now, I'm in the position where I need the money. So I take out my profit every night and I take out the balance every night. And then as soon as the football comes back on today, for the first trade, I'll start putting in £100 to cover that first trade. Now, the best way for you to make proper money is to leave your betting bank to grow and then to balance the staking with the increase in the betting bank. So if your betting bank doubles, your stake should double, your liability should double. then your returns will increase. Your betting bank will grow even bigger. Then your stake will increase. Your liability will increase. Profits will increase. And you get the compounding snowball effect. I can't do that because I need the money at the moment. If I didn't need the money, the betting bank would be growing to a quite substantial amount now, heading towards 4 figures. Now, if we're using a strict 5% rule, then 10% of a grand is 100, 5% is 50. I personally would, with £1,000, do £100 stakes because I'm more confident that I can keep the strike rate high and manage my positions as best I can. So that's something for you to think about. Do you take out your profit daily? As I do, I treat this as a job. Or are you building up your bank? And then are you going to use a percentage of your bank on a rolling basis to increase your stakes and increase your returns? Have a great day today. 11 a.m. start for me. I like this Champions League as well. Melbourne shouldn't really be landing a blow, but I will see at 11 a.m. Whether those odds are deserved. And the quite simple trick to success with trading is to maintain a focus on these shorties. For example, if Shanghai Pork scored first, it's very simple. The shorter the price, and if they're delivering as you'd expect in play, Birmingham, Sheffield United coming from behind Birmingham yesterday as well. Odds on Hull coming from behind, 2 goals down. So the market does leave clues. Well, Cardiff, their manager will be having a coronary after that poor performance. Have a great day, and I will see members of Football Trading Profits from 11 a.m. onwards, but probably the main service will be from 5 o'clock for the Champions League, 5:45 onwards. Tomorrow, Europa League, Europa Conference League are the main events. Have a great day, and I'll see members a bit later on.